Hello, hello, hello. What's up, y'all? It's your girl TJX, and welcome back to Life with God Ministry, where we do life with God. Today I'm outside. It's a beautiful day, but I just wanted to share with y'all the whole experience of my 24th birthday celebration. That is right, I am now 24, and I want to show y'all how God took my celebration from bad to best. So thanks for tuning in. Check it out. Before I start talking about my birthday celebration, on my actual birthday, I finally was able to cross out an activity from my vision board I showed y'all in my last video. Let me tell you something. Those movies where the actors gracefully glide their hands through the clay, it's a lie. I needed professional help and it was a tedious process. I absolutely do not recommend having your nails done during this activity because I was holding on to my press ons for dear life, y'all. If you know anything about me, you know that my birthday is a big deal and always has been. Footage from my last birthday, my 23rd birthday, is literally in my intro with me blowing out my candles. However, since I've started this ministry of life in the valley, and I've been in the valley for what feels like a cave for several months, I was really afraid that my birthday wouldn't feel special this year, but God stepped in and showed out like never before. He gave me Psalms 4:7 to meditate on, which completely was intentional since my birthday is April 7, 4/7. So Psalms 4:7 says, "You have put more joy in my heart than they have when their grain and new wine abound." So he's talking about abundance. Even though other people have materialistic abundance, I have more joy than them. And I believe that that's what God was telling me for my birthday. I just didn't understand how he was going to do it. Thank you for coming. I chose tacos. I wanted tacos for my birthday. And when I called weeks in advance, they said that they don't do reservations for over two people after 4 p.m. on weekends. Not good because I celebrated my birthday on Saturday with seven people, including myself, at 7 p.m. So I already had to ask God for favor, which is my favorite prayer. And I was trying to find parking and I already saw the line coming out the door. So I had to pray again. So I finally was able to park. I got there. I walked past the line of people on the outside that were waiting for a seat. And then coming inside, I saw people waiting on a bench. So I was already like, Lord, please figure this out. Please give me favor. I go up to the hostess and I'm like, be so serious. How long is it going to be for what's the wait time for seven people? And she said seven. I was like, yeah. She was like 45 minutes. I said, okay. So in my head, I'm like, okay, that's not horrible since my friends are running late. But she said, let me go check. I said, okay. She went outside. She said, actually, they're cleaning something off right now. And in my shock, I said, for seven people? She said, yeah, let me go check again. She checked back and she said, yeah, for seven people, it should be ready in 3 minutes. I said, so you don't need my name or anything? She said, no, you can just go outside and once you get to the table, it should be ready. I go outside and the hostess is behind me and she says, oh, but you need at least half your party. And my stomach dropped. My stomach dropped. I said, okay. Thankfully, a friend had already gotten there, and so she was looking for me. So now there were two of us. So we get seated. My friend is there. She's got her digital camera, and I'm panicking. I'm calling my friends, letting them know, hey, we need at least half the party. I'm trying to tell them, give them directions on where to park and where to go. And my friend took a picture of me while I was stressing out. And I get to the table, and my friend is like, relax, it's going to be fine. And then it hit me. Why would God give me a table just to have them take it away from me? He wouldn't. And so I was able to calm down. Then the hostess came back and she asked me if half my party had arrived. And there were only two of us at the table. So I told her they were trying to find parking, which technically wasn't a lie. I just wasn't exactly sure where they were. I had my friends' locations, but I could not. It's hard. I mean, it's Atlanta traffic. It was a lot, right? So they get there shortly after the hostess leaves and we sit down and my friends, so I'm 24. My friends are 23, 24. They're in their early 20s, right? 20, 21 from like, no, 22 to 24. No, no, no. My friends are young, right? They're either still in college, they're fresh graduates, or they are working low income paying jobs. So I was especially shocked when they came in and they gave me gifts because I was not expecting this. I mean, I was just in awe of how showered with love I was. Again, I take my birthday really seriously, and I was in a season of isolation during this time of being in the valley because it felt like a cave, and I wasn't able to see my friends as often as I wanted to. Throughout the night, I'm feeling incredibly grateful, and I keep telling them, "Thank you for coming." Thanking my friends for making the time to celebrate me. And God was wrapping his arms around me by using my friends. So, me thinking how I'm thinking, I'm not trying to, because I know my friends are not particularly financially stable right now. I brought my own cupcakes because some restaurants in Atlanta are trifling and they will charge you extra to cut the cake. Unbeknownst to me, when I had left to go use the restroom, my friends had orchestrated them to come out and sing happy birthday to me with beautiful sparklers. So I have a great time, right? I'm eating. The cake was delicious. It was like a tres leches cake, and it was absolutely delicious. It had a little rubber ducky on it and everything, and I'm just feeling incredibly celebrated. And so once that's done, I'm like, okay, because I'm thinking, what are we waiting on, right? After that's done, I'm like, how did y'all pay? Because for the menu, you had to scan the QR code. It wasn't like a physical menu. And they looked at me like I was crazy. My friend said, several of your friends have already tried to pay for you. I said, what are you talking about? Who? She named herself and two other friends. Three out of the six friends that came to celebrate me tried to pay for me, and they didn't tell me anything. I mean, I was like, what are you talking about? I was in complete shock. So then, after having a mini photo shoot on the rooftop, five of us decided the night was still young and we wanted to have fun. So we went to a karaoke bar and arcade that was nearby. If you know, you know. If you're in Atlanta, you know. I wasn't the only one celebrating my birthday, but I didn't mind sharing the spotlight, of course. And while I was on stage with my friends performing karaoke, my friend announced that it was my birthday, and another girl who was quite inebriated was also celebrating her birthday. And she jumped on stage and she gave me a big hug, and we were just jumping on stage, right? So she was a little drunk, but I was appreciative because, yeah, like, let's celebrate our birthday, right? So I was performing with the best backup dancers God could give me, aka my friends. And all of a sudden, that same girl who was drunk bumped into a guy um, off stage who manifested the spirit of anger, and because I was on stage, I didn't understand what was going on, but my friend captured the look on my face while all of this was happening. I just saw a crowd forming, and this girl was like yelling. The same girl was yelling. I didn't know what she was yelling about because she's drunk. So the DJ is having to come and break up a fight because the girl pushed into the guy, right? And the guy was upset about it. And so I guess another guy was trying to defend her because the guy was yelling at her. The one she pushed into was yelling at her. And so a crowd started to swarm, and we didn't know what was going on. So I was like looking for the exit. I'm like, okay, we might need to cut this short. So the young birthday girl, she comes onto the stage. She melts into a ball on the floor, and at that point, I'm not singing anymore. I mean, the track is playing in the background, but I'm not singing because I'm trying to figure out what's going on. And she's drunk, and the Lord has us pray for her, and we're like surrounding her and her friend, and we're able to pray for her salvation and pray that she gets healed, because again, she's kind of stressed out. I mean, imagine you were out having a good time with your friends, and all of a sudden you accidentally bump into this man, and this man just goes off on you in front of everyone. It's not only humiliating, it's also really dangerous because he was a stranger, right? So we pray for her, and it brought me to Psalms 107, 1 through 3. And it says, give thanks to the Lord, for he is good. His faithful love endures forever. Let the redeemed of the Lord proclaim that he has redeemed them from the power of the foe and has gathered them from the lands, from the east and the west, from the north and the south. So essentially, the verse says, let the redeemed of the Lord say so. Now, my friends and I, all seven of us, are saved. And that was definitely orchestrated by God, because the original people that I invited, the people that weren't able to make it, some of them were not saved. We're all saved. So we were able to pray for it, and it's not a big deal, right? We have the Holy Spirit. And God was able to use us in such a magnificent way and have us pray for her. I'm pretty sure. Now, this wasn't like a crazy establishment, but I'm pretty sure we were probably the only Christians in that bar that night. This verse was so good to me because I thought the only way I could get out of my valley season was by trying to become a complete work through my labor. And when that didn't work, I started isolating. I began to spiral, and I just isolated myself from my friends, which is why I was so appreciative of them when they came and they showed up for me. And I'm sure they were looking at me like, why? They didn't understand what I was going through mentally and internally, but they showed up and we were able to show up for this girl, this stranger, in a godly way because God used us in that moment. So, just like the clay that I shaped and molded, as you can see in the earlier part of the video, it was rough at first, but it came out beautifully. So we left shortly after praying for her, and so did she. I mean, the whole ordeal was kind of overwhelming, I think, for her, especially and her friends, and maybe to some extent my friends as well. On our way back to our cars, we had to take alternative routes because the city was busy and it was crowded. I mean, it was so crowded, y'all. I saw the Atlanta Cowboys, and I had heard about the Atlanta Cowboys, but I had saw them in person, and it was a little bit awkward because one of them tried to hit on me unsuccessfully. I asked if I could take a picture with the horse, and he said, "You want to take a picture with me or the horse?" And I said, "The horse." And he said, "Oh, okay." Then it was like, all in all, y'all, it was a really great birthday. As I continue to do life with God, I will never forget the moments like these where He showed up for me and allowed me to have fun with His kids. He allowed me to explore nightlife with my friends, safe and protected. He allowed me to dress up. We took a ton of pictures on the rooftop, and He just blessed me. He just was with me, and He reminded me of how much He loves me. He reminded me of how cared for I am. He allowed me to see Him and myself in a new light, in a new way, which is what I've been asking for this entire year. I've been praying, God, show me a different side of you. Show me a part of you that I haven't seen before. And though I know that people love me, I mean, I know that with my head, sometimes when you're in the valley, it doesn't feel like it. And it just doesn't. Sometimes when you're in the valley, it just does not feel like you are loved. It feels like you're in isolation. It feels like you're alone. It feels like you're fighting battles that people don't understand. And maybe people don't understand, but God still has you covered. And He does not always want you to isolate. You do need to go out. You do need to um, get on with some friends. You do need to sometimes play dress up and go out for mocktails or tacos or what have you, and just enjoy your life because you never know when it's going to end. So thank you so much for tuning in with me. This has been Life with God Ministry. I am still doing Life with God. I am creeping out of the valley, and again, I'm seeing a light at the end of this tunnel. I'm so grateful to be here. I'm so grateful to be 24. Not everybody made it to 24. And just thank you. Thank you to all my subscribers. Thank you to everyone who listens to this. I hope that this has blessed you. See you next time.